Well, good evening, everyone. It is Monday, August the 8th. The time is 7 p.m. A call to order the regular meeting of the Town Council. I would like to welcome all of the town councilors here this evening, with the exception of Deputy Mayor Corinne Pickering, who is unable to attend. Also welcome to our CAO, Jeff Baker, Deputy Administrator Wendy McKinnon, Municipal Clerk Kim Casely, our Police Chief Louis Sutherland just walked in, and also we have a couple of guests here this evening from Canada Games 2023 in the name of Chris Beauvais and Shane Connolly. Did I get that pronounced right? Perfect. Great. All right, welcome, and welcome to all those who are watching from home. Good to have you join us. Our agenda packages can be found on our website. Okay, before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is the unceded Mi'kmaq territory and is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the Indigenous nation, Mi'kmaq people, who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. So, Council, the agenda is before you this evening. We have one addition, which was a delegation under number 4. We'll have a presentation from the Canada Games 2023. Other than that, the agenda is as circulated. I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with that addition. So moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded by Councillor McCrae. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Any declarations of conflict of interest on any of the topics that are before us tonight? Hearing none, we'll move right along into item number 4, which is delegations, and this is when we'll call upon Chris Beauvais and Shane Connolly to come forward and make this presentation. And for those who are watching at home, you won't be able to see the overheads presentation, but you will be able to hear them. So I guess welcome, and we look forward to what you're going to show us.
Yeah, that's great.
So I guess you're all set.
Here? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just want to say first off, Mark Casey, thanks very much for allowing us to be here tonight.
Oh, just a second here. You've got to turn your microphone on here. There. Whoops.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, I just want to continue. Thanks, Mark Casey, for allowing us to be here tonight, and the rest of council members. It's a pleasure meeting you all tonight. Just introduce myself. My name is Chris Beauvais. I'm a staff member with the 2023 Canada Winter Games upcoming in February. And my role with the Games is I manage all the sponsorship and the revenue generation pieces with the Games. And I'd like to introduce Shane Connolly. And Shane is our Assistant Vice President of Revenue and Sponsorship as well. And he's in a volunteer role with our organization. So between the two of us, we'll just take a few minutes of your time here tonight, and we just want to give you a brief overview of the upcoming event. You may, obviously, we're out there right now. People, the communities across the province are aware of the games coming up. But we'd like to give you a bit of a digger deep, a little overview of it. And as well, we'd also want to introduce you to our municipal partnership program, which we've been going across the province and doing similar type of presentations to other communities as well. So we'll just get into it. So the games themselves, do you have, we have a video there. Is that able to play?
I hope so. It should.
The sound's down on the TV.
Okay, where's the... Do I have the controller?
It's on my desk there. You got it. We had it there.
I had it.
There we go. We have a little, it's about a minute and a half video here, just
Okay.
to give you an overlook.
All right, whenever you're ready, I guess.
Oh, gotta get out of there.
Full screen.
We are ready. In 2023, it's our turn to host the nation. We may be Canada's smallest province, but we're home to Canada's biggest hearts. We are a place where hospitality runs deep. And when it comes to welcoming our fellow Canadians, that's what we do best. You may think you know us, from man to bud to our bright red mud. But we're so much more than that. We were built for this. We are ready to take the spotlight, to be at the center of the action, to feel the energy, to see the sweat. This is where memories will be made, where records will be broken, and our country's pride on full display. From the East Coast to the West Coast and everywhere in between, Canada, we invite you to wow out. In 2023, we're all Islanders.
All right, so just to get you a little bit comfortable with the games and get you a little pumped up a bit, I just want to go into the games itself, just give you a little bit of background. Myself, I was involved as a staff member back in 2009 when we last hosted them, the summer event, when it was across province. And Shane himself, without showing his age, he was an alumni back in what year?
1981,
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
Yes.
So yeah, so we're just merged, and we're just so pleased to be part of it. When I had an opportunity to come back into the fold again, I didn't even think twice. And again, with Shane's background, his alumni piece and his piece within the community across the island too, it's fantastic. So a little bit of history on the Canada Games themselves at a national level. It is a national event. It's ongoing right now in Niagara Falls in the St. Catharines Niagara region. So all the provinces and territories are included right across the country. But the thing is with it is it's a national event, but it's also a local feel. So it just has its states right there. So all the cities and towns that host the events are generally population based around no more than 200,000 people. So we're not going to see this event in Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto. So again, we're very, very fortunate to be able to be our third time hosting the Canada Games, and we couldn't be more pleased to be able to do that. And just a few things as well. Over the past number of years with the games back in the early 60s, again, with the national aspect, you can see from tip to tip, we've got over 2,000 communities represented as athletes, coaches, and other participant levels throughout the games period. And then also when we go towards games time itself, so when we're hosting the event coming up in February, we'll also, at games time itself, there's about 700 communities across the province that are represented. So we have them in the palm of our hand for the 2 weeks to be able to really showcase PEI and all the communities across the province. It's the largest multi-sport competition in Canada. It's the stepping ground for all of our international athletes. For the most part, and anywhere from 4 to 8 to 10 years, we will see these youth that are be in our backyard, that we can have that upfront look. We'll see them on TV, we'll see them on the track, we'll see them on a hockey rink, we'll see them at the Olympic Games, international Commonwealth competition. So it's that next stepping ground for all of our international athlete competition. The games themselves they pretty well mirror the Olympic Games. It flip-flops summer to winter every 2 years. So right now, due to the pandemic, the Niagara region is hosting the summer event currently right now. It would have been last August. So in our space right now, it's never happened before in regards to that 6 months between games. So there's a lot of dynamics going around to be able to, we can really learn from them that close to the event to really pull off a top-notch world-class event. Our games themselves, totally inclusive. We have para-sports as well, so it's just not able-bodied athletes. So we do have a Special Olympic component in figure skating, we have para-Nordic skiing, we have para-alpine, as well we have wheelchair basketball as well. So it's totally inclusive to the whole community. I'll just move on. The games coming up, like I said, we're just Niagara's hosting. We're hosting them obviously February 18th to March the 5th next year. We have the East Coast flavor. It jumps out to Newfoundland and St. John's in summer of 25. A little bit of a road trip up to Yukon in 27, and then we're back into New Brunswick here. So in regards to the East Coast presence and the showcasing of what we do and how we do it and why we do it, we couldn't be more in a better position. Alumni, I just touched on that about international competition. the percentage of athletes that do go on to compete at that international level. Just the past Olympic Games, just some statistics there in regards to alumni. And the thing is, it doesn't really show the whole picture of how much we've increased the training ground, because it's a lot of the sports are based on birth years, so it's not always the top level athletes. They might miss a year if they're not eligible, but our numbers over the last 4 Olympic Games are just rising, and it's just due to the legacies that are left over, and Shane's going to touch in regards to that, from financial to coaching to everything else that's associated with the Canada Games property. Touched on about our health. The last number of games, people coming to the games, they want to be there. So we have our family, friends, and our corporate sponsors and partnerships across the board. Our social media, especially the last number of years, especially the last 2 years specifically in regards to social media channels, everything that you do, everything that you see can just be totally amplified right across the cross section. So we're really, the buzz is there. It's one of our keywords up there, but the thing is it's just opportunities to really showcase, again, the communities and the province at large. And again, we're really increasing our stature across the province. In 2009, we're pretty well proud to say that from a sponsorship piece, that we've had the highest favorability and awareness that's been measured since 2000. It's the last 6 Canada Games. So what we're doing from a sponsorship standpoint is we're trying to really increase that for our corporate partners and also for the province and the communities that will be involved in. I just touched some demographics in regards to who's coming, so it's just a brief, and again, you'll have a copy of all this to share after our presentation that you can look more deeper into that. We're approximately 2 to 3 family members are attending the games for about a 5-day period, so you can just imagine the economic impact that goes right across the province, not just in the 2 main cities. I just wanted to throw that one slide in about mental health. Again, with the last 2 years and even prior to that, sport is a major component of youth and growth. So in regards to a stat that we had from one of our research team, and I'll just quote it, 84% of Canadian youth agree that participation in sport has a positive impact on their mental health and stress levels. So with us as a property, with the Canada Games themselves, we are ensuring that. That's going back to the picture that and the storytelling that we create through the whole process pre-games and also during the game. So what we really do want to do, and Shane's going to touch on it in a couple minutes in regards to how we deliver the program to make sure we impact that piece as much as possible. Really briefly, high level, I touched on it's the Canada Games. So back in 2009, we were spread out over 2 weeks, east and west, but this time it's going to be the full 2 weeks right across the province. So there's 18 venues right across the province, competition venues. We'll also have a main festival site downtown Charlottetown that'll be available for 2 weeks. It'll be a free opportunity for all of our residents and visitors. As well, we'll be going into the Maritimes as well. We'll be hosting long track speed skating at the Halifax Oval, and we'll also be at Crab Mountain in Fredericton to do some alpine events just in regards to what we need to do to have that competition held. We're expecting over 30,000 unique visitors to the island. That's mums and dads and grandpas and grandmas and everybody else. And so again, our economic spin-off, just based on past games and events of this nature, will be well over 110 million. If we factor in the brand new UPI residence that's being built, and we'll be the first inhabitants of that, and that'll be the Athlete Village, it'll be well in excess of that over the next 10 years. As well, it's besides the sport competition, we'll be hosting our torch relay, community celebrations, or you name it, right across the board, right across the province. Every community will be hosting something, and again, Shane's going to touch on that in a second. And I'll throw it over to Shane.
So folks, the event is athlete focused for sure. We want to deliver the best experience for athletes from across the country as we can. We also are focused on making sure our stakeholders gain value in participating in the games. And that goes from communities like Kensington as well as all of our corporate partners throughout the event. The economic impact Chris mentioned a moment ago, we're on time, on budget, and I say that not knowing the budget exactly and being exact on that, but at the end of the day, we're going to deliver an economic impact that will be significant in the province. And of course, the legacy piece, as Chris mentioned a moment ago, with the UPEI residents, the new center in Summerside, in Rustico, will see the first Olympic-sized ice surface in the province. So we're going to see some significant legacy pieces associated with the games. There's lots of people around the games. 3,600 participants will descend upon the province. We expect to have 5,000 volunteers participating, over 100,000 spectators, both in person, and I don't know what the numbers will be from a viewing perspective, but we expect somewhere in the range of 5 million from a streaming perspective. We're going to have 150 mission staff, 500 plus officials, medical, media. So there's going to be an army of people involved and participating both on a spectator and volunteer basis for these 3,600 participants. The sports that we'll see during the 2 weeks, a little bit tricky to see here, but there are 20 sports noted here. As Chris mentioned, everything from wheelchair basketball to archery, and of course the highlighted games are hockey, generally speaking, but wheelchair basketball is an extremely popular event as well, and has been historically. Lots of food, lots of stuff gets consumed. Our daughter was in the event in 2017 and they had no shortage of food. So we have to deliver that to our participants. You can see some of the items here. And for those folks that can't see the screen and watching remotely, we expect to serve about 20,000 muffins over a couple of weeks. So that and 3,500 pizzas should keep some folks fed. But on top of that, there will be room nights at hotels. We expect over 9,500 room nights. So hotels will be busy. We're going to need over 300 computers and close to 1,000 radios for the event. Volunteers, as I mentioned, we will have 5,000 volunteers. 500 of them being in leadership and planning situations. They're going to provide lots of shifts of work and fulfill over 150 roles and jobs on site for the games. The legacy piece, as Chris mentioned, for those that cannot see the screen, we have a picture of the UPEI residence that's under construction currently and on track to be open in advance of the games. This will be the largest building on Prince Edward Island. It will be, as Chris mentioned earlier, the first tenants will be games participants, and will leave a legacy at UPEI that will be significant. On top of that, as I mentioned, the new Rustico Arena, that will be a Olympic-sized ice surface that will be used for the games. The Canada Games Centre in Summerside, many of you may have seen it already. It's been up and operational for a few months now. A dome where I believe boxing is going to be held, Chris, and archery, and from all reports, the boxing should be quite a spectacle in there. They're going to set it up very, very nicely. But these leave a legacy and provide an opportunity for those communities where these facilities are built to have and to use into the future. On top of this, the sponsorship, the revenue generation team that Chris runs and I volunteer for, will hopefully, as in games in the past, deliver a legacy fund. Our intent is to have some funds left over at the end of all of this that can be used to support sports going forward and into the future. Community engagement. How can we have the town of Kensington involved in the games? Chris, I'll let you start with this one.
Oh, sure. Okay. The torch relay, as you probably are aware, it's going to be, we'll be having the community celebration here on Tuesday, December the 13th. So with that, all communities, I believe, a number of communities across the island will be hosting the torch relay. So, there's three pieces we're going to talk about how the town of Kensington is going to be engaged with the games outside because of a non-sport competition being housed here. So the thing is that with the torch relay, it's going to be big. We're going to be lighting it on October the 17th in Ottawa at the main cauldron there outside of Parliament Hill, and it'll be coming across, so we'll be bringing it over to PI shortly after that. And then, like I said, there'll be community stops right through until the games time. So when we have it on the December the 13th, the time to be determined, but it'll be a showcase for a couple of hours where you'll really be able to reach out to the community groups, both individually, your business community, and so forth, just to really to get some engagement, to get some buzz, and get them pumped up about the games itself. Our Canada Games Host Society team supports that, and we really want to raise the bar and really get everybody, like I said, from across the province, from tip to tip, every community as excited about the games as our staff team as well, and get everybody just prepared. And 60 days from there, more or less, is when game's on. So we're just sending that message there and telling a story on that date.
Road to the Games Festival will be as well on Tuesday, December the 13th. It's going to showcase live performance and island culture. The arts and cultural piece is a main component for those communities that are not holding events, and so we're excited to have that occur in Kensington. Through art and culture, our goal is to allow for these communities to create moments that people will take with them into the future and memories of the games, and to create excitement in advance of the games.
I just want to touch on too, just quickly add, in regards to this date on the 13th, there'll be maximum media presence as well. So that's that opportunity. Besides the regular media through those channels, we'll also have our social channels, digital media, right through those pieces. So there'll be a really focus on the community of Kensington leading up to it, and also during games time itself. So the broad storytelling on that day will just be spread out across the country in regards to all of our channels.
So December the 13th is Kensington's day.
Yes.
Other communities will have their own separate day?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Each one will have their separate day. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Catch a Spirit program is designed to engage the youth in our communities, and from grade 1 to grade 9, obviously at Queen Elizabeth here in Kensington Intermediate, from September of this year, when students go back to school, through until February games time, there'll be programs and a delivery of educational pieces to the students in Kensington throughout. It's going to be part of the curriculum in the schools. And so it's one of the key engagement pieces that we have developed for the games, and is a function of the Canada Games movement. And Chris, am I correct in stating this is a national piece at other games,
Yes.
very similar types of engagement? So it's going to incorporate unifying Canada, healthy living and sport, goal setting and leadership, arts and culture, and of course be in both official languages.
Just add on, so also Kensington will be involved with, we have a partner concert series, what we call it. That might not be the name of it in a couple months' time, but that's the theme. So during the games themselves, there'll also be a venue here within the town that'll be identified very shortly, together with yourselves. to host a specific night of entertainment. So again, a number of communities will be identified to participate in this program, and you'll have the focus just on yourselves. It won't be multiple communities on the same evening. So this kind of event will be like a dance, a singing, whatever they come up with in regards to that concept, a cultural piece. It'll be a fun couple hours of entertainment for the community to be able to come out. And again, during games time, you know, if you can't get to Charlottetown, you can't get to another local community to be able to watch an event that day, a sport competition, it gives you the cultural piece and it'd be really involved with the games as well. All right, the Municipal Partnership Program. As I said when we first started, we've been at 8 communities so far across Prince Edward Island. So what we've been doing is visiting and giving the same type of presentation and updates and so forth in the games themselves. So what we're here tonight too to talk about is from a revenue generation piece. Together with myself and Shane and our team, we're charged with raising $7.2 million for the games in regards to what we have to come up with to pull this huge event off. So a big piece of that is we're talking with our municipal partnership program. So I just wanted to give you a little information there in the past couple games, how we based our relationship in regards to our ask from a revenue generation standpoint based on the number of residents in your community. So it just gives you a higher level, and don't get excited on that. It's nothing to where we're going about, but I just want to give you some feedback there on what's in the past that host societies have went into the communities to request some financial assistance. So in regards for our games, what we're here tonight is in regards as an ask based on the 2016 census here with the town. And the number of dollars that we're asking per residence or requesting for consideration is $10 a residence. This is the same type of number that we've utilized in our other communities, our other rural communities in regards to that. So with that, we're here tonight to formally request or for consideration from Mayor and Council in regards to a financial contribution of just over $16,000. This contribution does not have to be paid all at one time. It can be spread over multiple fiscal years if it's of interest to participate as well. From a pun perspective, we're batting 1,000 right now. So we've had this support across the province. So there also comes some goodies to go along with it. You'll be recognized obviously as a municipal partner program and as a, like I said, a partner of the Canada Games. Right through, you have access to all of our social media channels and all like digital channels and so forth. So we'd be sharing all types of activities that you guys are putting on in that community over the next few months leading up to the games, and also during games time as well. There'll be whatever outside of the partner concert series that's going on. We can obviously have that synergy together as well right through. So just some basic rights and benefits that we'd supply to you, but that's just, we can always add to that. It's just a starting point to see where you guys would like to go with that. So with that, that more or less concludes our presentation. And if anyone has any questions, we can do that now, or we can follow up if you want.
Well, I'm just going to ask one question I was going to ask about was, how are you getting on with the sponsor or the volunteers? Are you pretty well staying on target? The last I talked to, I forget who I was talking to, but I think you were fairly well along in getting your 5,000 volunteers.
Yeah, we just had a meeting on that today, so we're approximately around 2,600 to date for our volunteer base. Right. And that's another message we wanted to pass on tonight as well. And it's just in regards to, we have opportunities in all different avenues. There's all different types of positions right across the board, from transportation to selling tickets in the merchandise stores, event services, helping people to their seats, VIP lounges, you name it. There's an opportunity for everyone, regardless of their abilities. So we'd really love to be able to push that message out to your community. there is a training. Training is all provided for all of our volunteers in every area that we put on. So you're not going to go in there without, you're going to have that knowledge going into day one. And the good thing is too, we do have a nice swag package for all of our volunteers through our outfitter Carbon. So you also receive a nice 4-piece outerwear set as well. Nice ski jacket and shirt and long zip-up jacket and so forth to say thank you. We do have a nice big wrap-up event once the games are over. But again, at the end of the day, we're still we could probably pull it off with another 1,500 volunteers, but we're going to be going into that mode going into September. To really focus on that volunteer recruitment. Yeah.
Good.
And security, I should say too. We have lots of security needs as well.
And when do you need to know our commitment for the sponsorship?
Oh no, we'll just leave it with you.
Okay.
The earlier that I'm just saying if it's a month or two, but the earlier we always tell all of our partners is that the earlier you come on from the word that we use is activation. So the earlier you come on, we can go right from that date on with the association and promoting yourselves as a partner, municipal partner, and we can start having fun with it and really getting your messaging out. And really, again, building the excitement towards the community events that are going to be held here, and then obviously any other outside events that you really want to promote. And there's also opportunities too. We can also come up to do presentations outside of council to community groups. No problem at all. You just pick up the phone. That's where some of the pieces as the partnership and outside the partnership is. We'll come up and at any time to update and provide updates, similar actual updates on progression of the games to any community groups in your town. They just send us out a message there, and we'll get that done. Also, our mascot name is Wildquiz, so she would be also available if again with any events that you have going in town. It's just a simple process, and we'll get our mascot up there, and it's a really engaging piece to have as well. Yeah.
Okay, and we can get in touch with you directly for sponsorship. Okay.
Yeah.
Council, any questions, or staff, any questions that you have? All right, well, great.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Great to
Appreciate
see
your
you.
time.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks for that. If any questions, just please reach out, and
Yep.
we'll get those answers for you.
All right, great. All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. See you now. I don't know what happened. When's to that? Just at the very last?
I don't know.
We look for this.
Yeah, you can turn it off now.
Okay, council. We are back on our item number 5 on the agenda, which is the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting. Those meeting minutes are before you for June the 11th. Are there any errors or omissions in the minutes of June the 11th? June or July? Says, what's going on here? Just a second, I'm having a little problem here with my computer. I think I lost my agenda. There we go. All right, council. The minutes of July 11th for the regular meeting. Those minutes are before you. Are there any errors or omissions? Councillor Spencer.
Just in the correspondence, 9.1, I think, should be from Provincial Credit Union. But thank you.
9.1. Oh, you're right. It's not Consolidated Credit Union, it's Provincial Credit Union. We'll make that change to the minutes. Any other errors or omissions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of July the 11th as corrected. So moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Business arising out of the minutes? Any business arising out of the minutes of July the 11th? Hearing none? What am I doing? I keep losing my agenda. That's the second time it's happened. We'll move right along to reports. The CAO's report's the first report. Any questions on the CAO's report? What is going on here? I've lost it again. I'm having computer problems here, folks. For those who are watching at home, I have done this 100 times before and haven't had any problems, so. All right, the CAO's report is before you for August. Any questions on the CAO's report, Council? All right, Councillor Mann first.
No, thank you, Your Worship. I'm just inquiring about item 28 with this credit union center upgrade. So that's probably means that nothing will happen for this season.
I don't think we know what the time frame, how long it's going to take. Mr. Baker, do you have anything further than you're right, we don't know. It's hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the case. We think it's supposed to be a fast turnaround, but we don't know. Any other questions? Councillor Spencer?
Item 9 was the Commercial Street, Broadway Street intersection. Being that it's been probably a year since we purchased the convex mirror that we thought might help, could we go ahead and put that up to?
No, we can't. We've been told very specifically we can't. I have requested a meeting with the new Minister of Transportation to see if we can somehow speed things up and get some answers, because we've been promised some things, and for the past 2 years we've been promised. And I've got a meeting, or I'm trying to arrange another meeting with the new Minister of Transportation, and hopefully we'll have more success with him. It is on our radar, and it is continually being lobbied by Mr. Baker, and now we're starting to lobby at my level with the minister. So all we can say is leave it with us at this stage, unless you get something else to add, Mr. Baker.
No, the only suggestion I would have, thank you, Your Worship, is that the minister will be in town this Friday for an announcement at the gazebo. I believe he will be in town for that, so that'll give us an opportunity to lobby at that time as well.
Any other questions, Council? Councillor Gallant.
Thank you. Don't really have a question. I just want to mention, I think it's item number 25, which is the windbreaks and so on up at the tennis courts at Kish. I just wanted to say that it's been utilized pretty well this summer, along with both tennis and pickleball. So that's good to see. I think it was a very good move on their part and the school to allow it to have that upgrade there, because it's been used quite regularly. And I just also wanted to mention on that though, right, and I think I brought it up to you, Your Worship, a couple of times already. We're just wondering, and I have spoken with the principal, because I had a chat with him the other day when I just ran into him on the street, and we're talking about an area right in front of the tennis courts. It's kind of a unsightly area as well for looks, as well as parking or walking into the tennis courts, especially after rain. There's a huge hole there, a huge hollow area, which gathers a lot of water, and it lays there for several days after rain. So just wondering if maybe we could help or push to have that repaired, and he's going to look into it as well.
Yeah, I was up looking at that after you had mentioned it as well, and Mr. Baker and I were talking. I think he was going to have our own Public Works staff to see if there's anything we can do or see what can be done. I think they are getting some repairs done to their parking lot, and I would hope that maybe it can be done at the same time. That I think it needs paving. I think cutting a ditch to drain the waterway is not going to solve the problem. I think it needs to be raised up a little bit. So I think Mr. Baker saw him making another note to himself, so he's got it on his list. It's on our radar. Hopefully we'll get something done. Yes, Councillor.
Thank you. And the other item was on item 26, regarding, I guess, the post, Canada Post mailboxes. So they're going to be on Garden Drive along there. Is that where they're going to be? Next to the fence?
I'll let Mr. Baker confirm. I think so, but
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, the Baird Street community mailbox that's currently located in the Credit Union Centre parking lot is going to be on the Garden Drive side of the caged area in front of the Credit Union Centre, and the community mailboxes that are currently located on Linwood Drive are going to be moved to kind of the base of that widened area on Pleasant Street adjacent to Centennial Park. And we expect those to be done before the end of August.
Councillor Glant.
So I'm more concerned about the Garden Drive when there's just regards to when it's set in there, will it be made that it can't be blocked off? Because that is an area that's used for hockey games and so on in the winter. A lot of people park along that widened area there as well, so I'm wondering how they will prevent that from being blocked off with cars parking to go to the Credit Union Centre for hockey games, both during the day and in the evening.
Thank you, Your Worship. I don't believe there's any provision to block off a parking area or anything there. I did advise Canada Post that about a dozen times a year parking around the Credit Union Centre does become an issue, major hockey games, things of that nature where patrons park along that section of Garden Drive, and they didn't make any mention of blocking that or marking it as a no parking area, nor would I suggest that we want it marked that way, but I would recommend simply allowing it to happen at this point, and if cars park along there, then mail is either accessible or not accessible at that point in time. I'm not sure what else we could do there.
Any further questions, Council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the CAO's report for the month of August. So moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Next report is the Fire Department Statistical Report. That report is before you. Are there any questions on the report? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the report as presented. So moved by Councillor McCrae, seconded by Councillor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Next is the Police Department Statistical Report. That report is before you. Any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the Police Department Statistical Report as presented. So moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Chief, did you have anything further that you wanted to bring to the council's attention tonight that's not in the report?
Not tonight, actually, but I will just give you a story. No, not really tonight, but I will have something just to briefly tell you that our new SUV, the hybrid, is averaging 9 liters a day per 100 kilometers. And the Tauruses are doing 14.5, 14.7, so the hybrid is making a big difference. We see it like just the number of times it goes to the service station. It was in for service the other day, and it's all good.
Great, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll move on. All right, thank you, Chief. Thanks for joining us. Next one is the Development Permit Summary Report. That report is before you. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt it as presented. So moved by Councillor Toombs, seconded by Councillor McCrae. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Next report, the bills list for the town. Those bills are before you. Are there any questions on any of the bills? Councillor Spencer.
The bigger overhead doors at the fire hall, I was wondering if that was maintenance due to just age, or if that was damage that had to be repaired.
Mr. Baker, do you have an answer to that question, or Mrs. McKinnon?
It's just due to age.
Turn your mic.
Oh, yeah, my voice picks up.
Huh?
My voice picks up on your mic.
Not if you whisper. So just age, I guess. Any other questions, council? Councillor Mann.
No, thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering with Summerside Practicar for the police rental, is that from the replaced during the accident? Just wondering if that would be reimbursed by the insurance company.
Mr. Baker, do you know? You know? I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but we'll try to get the answer, and perhaps Mr. Baker can send out an email advising the answer. Any other questions, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive and pay the bills in the amount of $237,154.54. So moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Also, the capital expenditures invoices for the month total $127,450.50. And entertain a motion to receive and pay those. So moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Councillor Toombs. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. We are now into the summary income statement. That summary income statement is before you. Are there any questions on the summary income statement? Oh, maybe we'll do the water and sewer bills, will we? All right. Mrs. McKinnon insists we do the water and sewer bills. Any questions on the water and sewer bills? Councillor Mann.
I'm just wondering about the sewage treatment plant. It's been a while since those.
Turn this on. Sorry, Your Worship. Just wondering about the sewage treatment plant. I just see it's still in the 3,000 range, and I know these are probably June, but wasn't the variable drives and everything installed before this? So there's still must be another issue, or is it the issue with the turbine itself?
Mr. Baker can fill you in a little bit on some of the things that he's dealing with.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's actually two issues at the sewage plant. You are correct that the mechanical upgrades project was installed. We're having an issue with the dissolved oxygen sensor that sits in the lagoon. It's not of the self-cleaning type, and from our perspective, it's actually in the wrong location. So our guys clean it every couple of hours at this point. To try and get the sensor to pick up the correct oxygen reading so the blowers can ramp up and scale back as required. So we are still working with the consultant through that process and dealing with the prime contractor. The other issue, of course, is the wind turbine is currently mechanical. So we have ordered the correct parts. The parts have arrived. The two technicians that we use to do repairs on the turbine, one is currently in Alberta, one's in Ontario doing repairs on other turbines. So we are currently trying to seek out another technician to make those repairs for us. Other than that, we're going to be looking at towards the end of August before those repairs can be made to the turbine. So that's it in a... Again, everything else at the sewage treatment plant is working as it should from the newly installed project, except we're still having that issue with the dissolved oxygen sensor that sits in the aerated lagoon. So we're working to clean that up as quickly as possible, but it's been slow moving.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Any other questions, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive and pay the bills in the amount of $8,413.80 for the water and sewer utility. So moved by Councillor Mann, seconded by Councillor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Now we'll move into the summary income statement. Any questions on the summary income statement, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the summary income statement to the end of June. So moved by Councillor Toombs, second by Councillor Mann. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Moving right along to the Credit Union Center report. That report is before you. Are there any questions on the report? Councillor Mann.
No, thank you, Worship. Not really a question, just a comment. My evening walks, that skateboard surface is constantly being used.
Yes.
So it's been well used. Just a
I've
compliment
had,
there. So.
Had a lot of positive feedback from some of the youth in the community and some of the parents in the community as well about how well received it is to have that skateboard park there. We have had an issue with noise in the area, so as of today, the skate park equipment has been moved down to the far end, and we're hoping that that's going to help solve part of the issue. And if not, we will see whether we have any other options available to us. Do you have anything further to add on that, Mr. Baker? It's just that it's with the kids using the ramps and that, somebody's sitting out in the evening, they find it a little noisy, the house that's close by. So anyway, we have moved the ramps as of today to the other end. We're hoping that that alleviates the problem to get us by. Sometimes you can't win. Any other questions, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive the report and to adopt the report, pardon me, to adopt the Credit Union Center report. So moved by Councillor Spencer, second by Councillor McCrae. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Next is the mayor's report. That report is before you. Are there any questions on the mayor's report? I think the fence that we put to catch the errant balls on the ball field is working to date while we're waiting for the permanent solution to come into place. But it seems to be catching the balls right now. So here, Councillor Glant.
Thank you. It just reminded me of something whenever you brought the fence up. I was down there a couple of evenings in the last week or so, one being last evening, and there's, as you know, we got the roadway blocked off going down behind the arena to keep cars from going down into the ball area, which is good because it saves a lot of people's windshields as well as it's a safety issue with children. But I noticed the last couple of times I was down that there's cars actually driving down between the fence that's there, or the netting to keep the balls from going into people's yards, and the home run fence. They're driving right down between that on the grass and parking down there. Now, I don't know why they'd want to do that, because it would be obviously a chance to lose a windshield or a window to your car. But last night there was a truck there and a car both, and one other night I noticed a couple as well. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Maybe you could check that out and see. I don't know how we'd stop them. I guess we'd have to block it off there as well. But it's unfortunate that they are going in there.
We'll leave that with Mr. Baker and Mr. Wood to find a solution, whether it's a sign or whatever. All right. Any other questions, council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to receive and adopt the mayor's report as presented. So moved by Councillor Toombs, seconded by Councillor McCrae, was it? Yeah. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillor Mann, do we have anything to report for the Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipalities?
No update, Your Worship.
Nothing?
Nothing.
All right. Deputy Mayor Pickering's not here, so there's nothing for the Heart of PEI. Chamber of Commerce, Councillor McCrae, I don't know if there's no meetings. I don't know if you have anything to report or not. Jan?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Your Worship. No, there was no meeting, but I did get an email that we're having a trivia night on August the 21st from 6 to 9. The admission is by donation, and all the proceeds will go to the winner of the ambassador. So you can register your team, 6 or less, and I have a phone number. If anyone is interested, they can just let me know or get a phone number from me. I also got another email, which was quite interesting. Holland College is offering an online board member training session. It runs from September the 19th to November the 15th. It's $100 in cost. There's actually 11 courses in total that is involved in it, which are quite interesting, really. It's 25 hours, it's online, it's a self-study, and there's 3 Zoom meetings. So for $100 and 11 different courses that's involved in it, and there has been a couple of members from the chamber who has taken the course, and they said it's very beneficial. So if anyone is interested, I think that would be, great. So yeah, that's everything for me.
All right. Where is the trivia going to be held? The location?
C&B.
Oh, it's C&B Corner.
C&B
Cafe.
Corner, yeah,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor McCray. 55-plus games. Councillor Glant, do you have anything to report?
Thank you. 55-plus games, as you know, will begin on September 10th, go through to the 17th. We haven't met now for maybe a month and a half, since early or mid-June, I guess. We have a meeting tomorrow night. Our next meeting is tomorrow evening here at Town Hall. So we're hoping to get an update there on registrations. I've been informed through our summer student and the Charlottetown office as well. Registrations thus far has been down. They're not, we haven't had an overabundance of registrations, with the exception of golf and pickleball. Golf is almost full for the ladies, and the men's is filling up as well. And pickleball has got some. There is some board games and card games that are getting some attention, but there is we have about 14 sports, but there is some that there's been no registration yet. So we're hoping within the next, we've got 3 weeks of registration left. It don't close until August 31st. So we're hoping that we'll get a little more attention to some of those other sports between now and then, but there's always a chance that some of them won't go as well because of lack of registration. But it's going pretty good, and I guess the other thing I wanted to mention was sponsorship. We put several letters out throughout the community and the island, really, and there hasn't been a big support of sponsorship. We have received some, but not as much as I would have liked, and I guess I can kind of understand it to a certain extent. We got our own festival here around the same time or just before, and then when we get a presentation tonight from Canada Games, and there's an awful lot of other things going on, so I'm sure all businesses and organizations are getting pushed for sponsorship. So, but I think with registration and sponsorship we do have, we should be okay anyway, or hopefully we will be.
All right, thank you. All right, if there's no questions, we'll move on into new business. First item on request for decision number 31, which is the Broadway Street South Infrastructure Upgrades, the tender award. That information is before you. Councillor, are there any questions or clarification needed on the information? This is the going from Barrett Street up to the end of Castle, which is putting in water and sewer and also the sidewalk. The tender has been issued. Any questions or clarification needed? Hearing none, who would like to read into the record the resolution to award the tender to Burton McKay? Councillor Toombs, go ahead.
Just one thing at the bottom in the resolution, it says 967,000. It should be one.
Should be one, yeah.
Be it resolved that Kensington Town Council award the contract for the Broadway Street South Infrastructure Upgrade Project to Burton McKay Backhoe Services Limited as per their tender submission in the amount of $1,967,267.06, including HST.
Thank you, Councillor Toombs. Do we have a seconder for that resolution? Seconded by Councillor Spencer. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Next is the request for decision number 32, which has to do with the rezoning of Rosewood Drive. The first resolution is the second reading, rezoning of the property, of the lot on Rosewood Drive, right? All right, the first resolution is to approve second reading, and it's a long one. Who wants to read into the record the long one, because there's another long one to follow? I see Councillor Mann smiling. That means he's going to take it on. Go ahead, Councillor Mann.
Oh, thank you, Your
You like
Worship.
the long ones.
Whereas a request has been received from the owners of a property located along Rosewood Drive, Lot B36, PID number 762559, to rezone their property from its current single residential R1 zoning designation to low-density R2 to facilitate the construction of a duplex on the property. And whereas a public meeting to solicit comments, feedback from the public was held on June 16, 2022, in accordance with the PEI Planning Act and the Town's Development Control Bylaw. And whereas town staff have evaluated the application in consultation with DVA Consulting and are recommending that Town Council proceed with the Development Control Bylaw amendment. And whereas the bylaw amendment was read, approved, and adopted a first time at a regular meeting of Town Council duly held on June 11, 2022. Be it resolved that Kensington Town Council give and approve second reading to amend the Zoning and Subdivision Control Bylaw to rezone Lot B36, PID number 762559 along Rosewood Drive from its current single residential R1 zoning designation to low-density residential R2 to facilitate the construction of a duplex on the property.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Do we have a seconder for that resolution? Seconded by Councillor Spencer. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. All right, Councillor Mann, do you want to read resolution number 5, which actually is second reading?
Okay. Whereas a request has been received from the owners of a property located along Rosewood Drive, Lot B36, PID number 762559, to rezone their property from its current single residential R1 zoning designation to low-density residential R2 to facilitate the construction of a duplex on the property. And whereas a public meeting was to solicit comments, feedback from the public was held on June 16th, 2022 in accordance with the PEI Planning Act and the Town's Development Control Bylaw. And whereas town staff have evaluated the application in consultation with DVA Consulting and are recommending that Town Council proceed with the Development Control Bylaw amendment. And whereas the bylaw amendment was read, approved, and adopted a first time at a regular meeting of Town Council duly held on, I think it's July. Correct? Not June?
July 11th.
Yeah, July 11, 2022. And whereas the bylaw amendment was read and approved a second time at this meeting, be it resolved that Kensington Town Council formally approve and adopt second reading to amend the Zoning and Subdivision Control Bylaw to rezone Lot B36, PID number 762559, along Rosewood Drive from its current single residential R1 zoning designation to low-density residential R2 to facilitate the construction of a duplex on the property.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Do we have a seconder for that resolution? Seconded by Councillor Spencer. Mr. Baker.
The date of the first meeting where it was read is actually July 8th, not June 11th.
And that would be for resolution number 4 and 5.
So if the mover and seconder are okay, we'll amend that resolution after the fact to read June 8 as, or July 8th as opposed to
June 11th. Second, and that's for resolution number 4 and number 5.
As it's going to carry through the number 6 as well.
Right, okay. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. All right, resolution number 6, we'll give formal adoption, formally adopt the amendment. And Councillor Mann, if you can read it into the record with the correct date.
Actually, July 8th is a Friday. It's July 11th is the second Monday.
We'll get this straight yet.
Eventually.
So I'm going with July 11th. Going once, going 12,
July 11th.
twice.
All right, all the resolutions for those who are watching at home are July the 11th, not June the 11th, and they will be formally adopted.
All right.
Councillor Mann.
Resolution 6. Whereas a request has been received from the owners of a property located along Rosewood Drive, Lot B36, PID number 762559, to rezone their property from its current single residential R1 zoning designation to low-density residential R2 to facilitate the construction of a duplex on the property. And whereas a public meeting to solicit comments, feedback from the public was held on June 16, 2022, in accordance with the PEI Planning Act and the Town's Development Control Bylaw. And whereas town staff have evaluated the application in consultation with DVA Consulting and are recommending that Town Council proceed with the Development Control Bylaw amendment. And whereas the bylaw amendment was read, approved, and adopted a first time at a regular meeting of Town Council duly held on July 11, 2022. And whereas the bylaw amendment was read, approved, and adopted a second time at this meeting, be it resolved that Kensington Town Council formally adopt an amendment to the Zoning and Subdivision Control Bylaw to rezone Lot B36, PID number 762559, along Rosewood Drive from its current single residential R1 zoning designation to low-density residential R2 to facilitate the construction of a duplex on the property.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Do we have a seconder for that resolution? Seconded by Councillor Spencer. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Okay, we'll move into other matters. I had a few things I wanted to just mention. One is there's no, if you will recall, there'll be no committee meeting this month. Number 2 is Shelley Tam Tom is on leave of absence from the library for a year. She's going to work at Queen Elizabeth for a year, so we wish her well, and she'll probably be back after that. Number 3 is the town float is being revamped and redone, and as a result of that, it's going to enable us all to ride on the town float during the parade and Harvest Festival. So we can all ride on the float this year, and there's seating there with the theme. So I think you'll like what's done. And I guess those. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is we need to take a look at what's your thoughts on Canada Games presentation tonight, and what our contribution levels will be. And do you want to deal with that tonight, or do you want to think about it for a while? I know they've used the census for 2013, which is 1,600, and we're really around the 2,000 right now. So those are the. Did you want to talk about the Canada Games contribution tonight, Councillor Gallant?
First of all, Mr. Mayor, I was actually glad that they came tonight, because I was originally thinking Kensington wasn't going to be very involved in the Canada Games, but it looks like that they've allowed all communities, or are going to be allowing all communities to be involved somewhat, and with what they've told us here tonight, if that's true, Canada Games, we will get some attention, although we won't have any sporting events here. We will have some other things as well as being recognized as being part of the Canada Games, which is good. And I think we should contribute, but I was wondering if we could leave it till to our next meeting, and then everybody can kind of think about it, and we could put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, I think. I think we're heavily involved, and I know Kim and team are heavily involved in the torch relay. Anyway, we can put that on our agenda for next meeting, and perhaps between now and then we're going to have some discussions and perhaps come forward with a recommendation for council to consider at the next meeting. All right, any other matters, council? Councillor Toombs?
Thank you. Just one thing I just wanted to bring up. The sign at the EVK pool, we really should have a new sign. It's pretty hard looking. And considering what the money we're spending on the pool and getting it, you know, the sign should reflect that.
All right, well, Mr. Baker will put that on his list. Thank you. Councillor Grant, did you have something?
Yes, Your Worship, I should have mentioned it there when we were talking about the Broadway Street extension, I guess. I was wondering if we could probably, I know it'll probably be advertised, but there's several businesses in the area, some large businesses, including business in the industrial park, that could be affected somewhat when they're doing that. I mean, I know they won't be blocking the road off, but would it be possible that we could send out maybe a letter to them and just indicate when it's going to be, and that there could be some disruption, especially with trucking and all that sort of thing?
I think that probably one of the things we probably do after the tender's been issued. So, and I think the plan is for them to start somewhere around 1st of September. So Mr. Baker will probably either ourselves or the Bert McKay will send something out. We'll get some. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Any other Councillor McRae?
Thank you, Your Worship. Mine's more of just a thank you to, I had a couple of situations last week, and I come up to Town Hall, and Deputy CO Wendy McKinnon got right on the two situations, looked after them immediately, and that evening I got a phone call from both people stating how happy they were that we were right on and looked after it right away. The second thing is down at the gazebo last Wednesday night, we had a fantastic turnout, and I think everyone involved should be, quite happy with everything and how it went. There must have been at least 100 people there, and or more.
Between 200, they had 240 meals and they ran out.
Yeah, so I think that was a big, shout out to Ship to Shore for looking after that, and to the town for, the music. And most of all, I'd like to give a very heartfelt thank you to the Kensington Fire Department. This year, especially this summer, they have not stopped. Living on Broadway Street, those trucks never stop. And the boys, the volunteers, and yesterday, the sirens were going every time we turned around. And I think we should be very grateful that we have such a great bunch of firemen that are so involved and committed to our community to keep us safe.
Thank you. Good idea. And the other thing on the concert that was last Wednesday night and is this Wednesday night as well is we have to give credit to Lindsay Connolly and Under the Spire for the participation, because that's part of a program that we've worked with in Kim. Lindsay Connolly was looking after it from Under the Spire. Kim's been looking after it from the town's point of view, and it has been a lot of effort going in. Ken Fornatran, of course, has been involved in the whole summer series program, but this program from August the 3rd to the 10th was a program. It was under what was that the Alliance? I forget what program it was under that funding. Do you remember the name of it?
It was under Mental Wellbeing.
Mental Wellbeing Alliance. So that was something that we thank Lindsay Connolly for taking that on and doing it from the leadership point, putting in the application, and all staff as well who participated in it. And thank you to Wendy to get all those things done that she brings to your attention and gets looked after right away. We need the kudos like that. Thank you. Anything else, Council? I think Councillor Spencer, I think your hand was first.
Just curious again, I think I'd asked a month ago about some patching on Victoria Street and at the base of Davison Street, and I didn't know if we'd had any update.
Yeah, do you have anything, Mr. Baker? No, that'll be another one of them. That's on our Department of Transportation hit list. Yeah, the list is getting longer. Councillor Mann, did you have something?
No, thank you, Your Worship. No, just you're talking about the float and stuff, thinking of the parade. I'm just wondering if, I know we might have, I think we asked in the past if the province would maybe put up a couple signs, maybe one by at the Blue Shank on Route 2 and the other by McIntyre Road, saying that the intersection is going to be closed. Because I work traffic for years, and they get pretty hot-headed.
Yeah, so like a forewarning sign, okay, it's not a bad idea. Mr. Baker, do you want to check into that? Or Robert, check into that?
Yeah, I think they've done it in the past for us.
Yeah,
And
it's between 2 and 3 that, okay?
yeah, and just
All right.
and just while we're talking about the summer series, I'm thinking about the old blacksmith shop, the lot. It's in really rough shape, so I was wondering if we should be just seeding it or sodding it, or
There's a boardwalk going to be,
Yeah.
I think they're just waiting for material now to come in.
Okay.
So that's going to be all closed in, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there, as you remember from 2 months ago. The program that's part of this whole program, the Main Street program.
Okay.
Where they're hoping to have, the Indigenous carvers going to be down there. They're hoping to have, what's it called? Mr. Baker, do you know?
Yep, so we are going to board in that area. The contract has been awarded. We're waiting on materials to come in to allow us to get that completed. And then there's going to be a vendor's hut constructed on that site as well.
Yeah. So it's all part of the whole package, and it took longer to get approval than, and now we're just, it's like try to get work and try to get materials, so. All right, anything else, council? Hearing none, we'll move right along to correspondence. The first item of correspondence is from the PEI Community Navigators, which is, we'll receive that for information. The next is a thank you for sponsoring the golf tournament in support of the Habitat for Humanities. The next is a thank you as well from our recipient of the Town of Kensington sponsor. What's it called? Scholarship. I had sponsorship stuck in my brain. Scholarship from Rena Stokes. And then there's also correspondence from the Prince County Hospital Foundation thanking us for our participation and giving us an idea of what some of our money is going towards. And the last is the second last is a letter from Sally Hoff on Barrett Drive, and I think that is a public or a Department of Highways road. They are the ones that do decide what the speed limit will be. That'll be another one of those things that we might mention to the Department of Transportation to see if that can be reduced to 40. I think we've asked that before and they've refused it. We can always ask again. So we will follow up on that and see if anything can be done. Councillor Glant?
What's it currently at now?
50. And that's a provincial. So I don't know if, I know we have requested that in the past and they've refused to do it. So whether they will or not, it's not our street. We have reduced the ones in town, but not that one. And the other one, the last one, is a positive letter or email from Julie at the Kensington Area Chamber of Commerce thanking the town for the work they did on paving the parking lot and in front, how appreciative they are of having that done. That is all the correspondence, pretty well all thank yous and appreciation. So, any comments, council? Councillor Toombs.
Just one more thing, I just thought of it. The lot next to the dairy bar that was purchased, right? Would it be possible to get the back area is getting pretty woolly looking on the grass? You know, we've been taking care of kind of the front, but towards the trail side, I've had a few complaints about it, the weeds and everything. You know, if the owner could knock that down, would be wonderful.
All right, Mr. Baker's got done his list.
Thank you.
If there is nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved by Councillor Toombs, seconded by Councillor McCray. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. It is now 8:20 p.m. Have a lovely month.